Hi everyone, I'm Jenna Payon with BackStory Events and the Women's International Music Network. We are here at the 2017 Summer NAMM show, and I'm here with singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and Boss representative Laura Clapp. Laura,
Hi.
how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. How's your NAMM going so far?
NAMM has been fantastic.
Yeah, so you're over with Boss right now. You're
Yes.
showing some products, you're demonstrating. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm demonstrating a new drum machine that we brought out called the DR01S, and it's a neat little onboard speaker drum machine that you can use to write songs, bring it wherever you want to go because it's battery powered, and it's got some really great drum sounds. And then demonstrating the Acoustic Singer Pro, which is an amp for the singing acoustic guitarist.
Great, perfect.
Yeah, killer amp.
Awesome, fantastic, very cool. And Laura performed the other night at the She Rocks showcase at the Listening Room Cafe here in Nashville, Tennessee. And Laura, tell us about that night. How was it? Your music was great. You sounded beautiful.
Thank you.
Tell us what it was like to play with a whole lineup of women.
That was really great because we were all so different. And
yeah, everybody was so different, right?
I loved that.
Yeah.
I loved hearing new artists. I loved the fact that the crowd was kind of like a built-in Nashville audience.
And they loved it. They were loving it.
Yeah, I don't know where they came from. They were amazing.
Yeah,
so it was a supportive environment, and just the other female artists that were there were wonderful, and it was a really, really great night.
What I love about your sound is that you have that kind of classic singer-songwriter thing, but you can tell you have an influence from a lot of different genres in a way that's really unique. Can you tell us a little bit about your songwriting philosophy and kind of what things go into that?
Yeah, I mean, songwriting for me has always been, every song is its own animal. You know, I feel like they all come differently, they all take a little bit longer, some come quickly, you know, but it's something that I've always just naturally done.
Cool.
And so I don't know what I would do without it. So there's no philosophy to it. It just kind of is. It's integral to who I am.
It's all you, all Laura.
Yeah. So I like that there's no real process or rules with songwriting, and I just try and hang on to that.
Cool. And you're a Berkeley grad. You're a multi-instrumentalist, and you've spent a good amount of time here in Nashville.
Yes.
As a demo artist and also writing with other people.
Yeah.
What's it like to be back in Nashville, and how did you find the climate here, the writing world?
Oh, it was great. It was so great because you could just schedule a writing session, which is just, 2 to however many people you want to have, that just sit down and bounce ideas off each other, and and all of a sudden you give birth to this song, and it's a really gratifying experience. I miss that the most. And demo singing.
You're in Connecticut now.
I'm in Connecticut, yeah.
And you've got a couple shows in Connecticut coming up. If you're local to the area in Connecticut, definitely check out lauraclapp.com and see what she's got coming out.
Please.
And you've got your music online and all of that for people who are interested. You're also a mom, and I want to bring that up. And can you talk a little bit about what it's like to be a mom who's also still a rock star?
Well, my daughter thinks I'm a rock star, so that's fine by me. So I have a 6 and a 3-year-old daughter, 2 daughters, and they keep me very busy.
Of course.
So I have lots of jobs because I work full time outside of the industry in marketing, and then when I come home, I get to be a mom. But then I get to still stay really grounded, and my music is always there for me. That's what
It's important, right?
It's
to
so
have
important.
that part of you that defines you. So that, and I think it's important to bring up. We talked a little bit with Julia and Commanda yesterday about being a mom as well, and I think it's important to remind women in the industry that it's cool to have that part of you still. And
it's important for my girls to see that too, because they see all kinds of role models, but I mean, I try and give them at least something that they can know that mom's really passionate about, that's never going to go away or never top them, but it's still nice to have that foundation.
That's so great. And tell everybody at home where they can find out more information about you, where they can follow you on your socials.
Sure, so it's all lauraclapp.com, CLAPP, or Twitter _LauraClappMusic, Instagram, same thing, Laura Clapp Music. So.
And if you're here, stop by the Boss booth and say hello to Laura.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
Jordan? More?
Keep going.
Oh, okay. Oh, we'll do some more. Jordan, why don't you come in? We're going to bring in Jordan now.
Jordan West.
Oh.
Hey, Jordan. We've got another Boss representative here.
Yes,
How you doing, Jordan?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. You played the other night with Laura Clapp, and you also played this past spring in LA at one of our other She Rocks events.
Yes.
What I think is wonderful about you is that you are a female drummer who also leads your own band.
Yes, that is wonderful.
A little bit about that, and you know, I think it's wonderful for women to see. You know, I'm a pianist myself. I'm a keyboard player, but it's nice to always meet a girl who's not the keyboard player, who's you know, holding down the beat. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for me it's been like an awesome learning experience, growing experience, to actually be in the position of making decisions, making things happen.
Yep.
I will say that at first it is like a weird adjustment for some of the dudes in the band, just because it's not something that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But once you get the vibe down, I think it's actually really great. I love having so much control. I'm a control freak, so I love having control over.
So do I. That's what I like about being a band leader.
It's
right?
awesome.
That you're
it's
like,
so
hey,
awesome. But you know, there's an element of collaboration too, and balancing the two things really has helped me out in my life. Like learning how to balance collaboration with direction and
awesome.
Figuring that stuff out. So.
And you're here with Boss too, doing some product demonstrations.
Yeah, I'm doing the SPD ones, the new little pads, and I'm just playing with Laura, who's like an amazing singer.
What do you love about the product?
I love the ability to change the sounds very quickly. Like you can take your snare and tune it way up and then tune it way down within like 1 second.
Is this something that non-drummers can use easily, or is this something that you need to have a little more specialized drum knowledge?
No, I mean, like we have a pedal version where it's just like a square, and you step on the square and it makes sounds. So it's really like base level, but I mean, it's like any skill level can use it. So it's if you're a drummer, great. If you're not, awesome. All you have to do is tap your foot and it sounds like a kick drum or a tambourine or whatever. So if you're playing keyboard and you need a kick drum,
I often need a kick drum. Sounds like a perfect thing for me.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your sound and your music and what you're kind of trying to get across?
I'm trying to go for the like soul, R&B, rock thing. I love Bill Withers. I love Alabama Shakes. I love I love all kinds of things, but that more gritty stuff is kind of what we've been working on in the studio lately.
Cool. And what do you have out right now, or do you have any new projects that you're working on?
Yeah, we actually just finished recording a single at Apogee Studios with Bob Clearmountain.
Awesome.
And he's amazing. We met him in Fort Wayne, where we're from, a long time ago, and it's awesome to finally work with him. And then I give drum lessons to Andy Summers of The Police.
Yep.
And he is playing on the track. So
that's so cool.
The track that we are about to release this fall is featuring Andy.
Great.
Mixed by Bob. It's like
can't go wrong.
Can
you tell us the name of the track and when? Roughly when it's gonna, I know you said fall. Anything more specific about it?
It's called Blueberry Smoke.
Cool. Blueberry Smoke.
Which is a weird. I don't smoke. None of us actually.
I don't either, but I also have a song called Smoke, and I don't know why we.
Is there something appealing about smoke? I don't know.
Smoke and music go together. The idea.
Well, yeah, and it was actually about like my friend's vape pen, which I think is the most lame, not sexy thing. But it smelled really good, so we wrote a song about it, and probably we want to release it by September. All things, hoping that all things go right, but that's when we're shooting for is September.
Awesome, and where can people find out a little more about you?
Online, I'm J_K_West. My band is Trackless, like a train, Trackless Band. So Instagram, Facebook,
great,
Twitter, whatever.
Cool, and so people follow along, look for the new track, Blueberry Smoke. Anything else you'd like to share about your NAMM experience so far? And have you had a good time? Have you been meeting people? And
it's been awesome. It's always awesome. I always leave every day super exhausted, and but it's great because you meet so many other musicians, other people in the industry, and I love going to like the events like you guys had the other night. Those are like every night there's something like that happening.
It's so great to play with other women, isn't it?
It's great to play with other women who are taking it like very seriously, very professional. A lot of times, girl bands get a bad rap, as you know.
It's just the stupidest thing ever. Because
it is so stupid.
If you want some type A and like really motivated and driven people, just be around a group of women creating something together.
Yes, and you guys, like your organization does such an awesome job of putting like incredibly talented women like on that. The other night, it was just like
so diverse and so good.
It's awesome to promote women in that way.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you here. Thank you again for chatting with us. Jordan West here at Summer NAMM 2017. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Sweet.
there a second one, or me and him got to share this one? Nope, looks like me and him got to share this one.
Yeah,
I think you got to share it.
Oh, that's okay.
Hey everybody, Brad Talinsky here at the Nashville NAMM show, Summer NAMM. And today we have a couple of guys who are not only in the industry, but are also in bands. And we're going to find out a little bit about them in a minute, I guess. So Austin, tell me a little bit about your band and the music that you guys are doing.
So a little bit about the music is mainly like prog rock, but with a lot of tendencies for traditional song structure. So there are verses and choruses and stuff, but we like to play around with time signatures, alternate tunings, expanded voicings of chords and stuff, and very interesting rhythms, both traditional and non-traditional. And there's also kind of like a jam vibe to it, because we all kind of like play as a unit as opposed to having our own separate parts. So a lot of our parts will intertwine with each other, which is really cool.
So is it more Porcupine Tree or Animals as Leaders? We're on the prog rock spectrum.
Probably like somewhere in between, like minus the bear and Periphery.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome. So you're both guitar players? Like, what do you play?
Guitar player and
bass player.
Bass player. Okay, well, we aren't interested in you.
I'll see you guys later.
Man, that's low end.
So what guitar are you rocking in your?
Recently, I've been rocking a PRS Custom 22. Originally, I was rocking Gibson Les Pauls for a while.
Yeah. They got too heavy.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit. But no, the PRS is awesome, and you're still on.
Yeah, I've got a Warwick thumb bass, and I have a Edgar custom guitar 6-string that I'd love to play.
Do you play it way up here?
It's a little bit of everything. So the convenient part about having two guitars is they take care of a lot of the top end, so I don't have to wander that far too much. But
that's cool. That's cool.
So, but it's fun.
So are you guys? Are you touring? Are you recording? What's going on?
We're currently in the process of recording and stuff. We have a couple of live tracks on SoundCloud. You can probably look them up. It's Dara, Dhara, with umlauts over the A's.
Yeah.
It's a Hindi term for stream or current. So it kind of fits the prog message there. But we're in the middle of recording and processing and stuff. We have a couple of shows, because we're all from New York. So we have a couple of shows in New York, and then slowly we'll be branching out from there after we get recordings done. And it's a long but fun journey.
Living the dream.
Oh, every day.
So I'm a Brooklyn boy. Where are you guys playing when you're playing in New York? Do you have any gigs set up yet?
Well, actually, when we get back home, we go to Warwick, New York, upstate.
We're headed up to Westchester, and a couple things in Nassau stuff that coming up. We're starting to hit Queens and things like that harder, playing with some bands, but we're getting there.
So let's talk about your day gig for a minute or two.
All right.
So you're over at Roland. What do you do over there?
I'm the East Coast product specialist for them. So I do all the trade shows and going to stores and hanging out at the music shop.
You do the demos?
Yeah, I do a lot of the demos.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's hot over at what's Roland showing at the show
actually,
you dig?
a lot of stuff, a lot of things.
What's cool? Give us a couple of cool
you want the
things.
really cool thing?
Yeah.
So
Cool?
we added 2 more pedals to the 500 series, and we had a DD 500. Now we have an RV and MD 500.
Those are the big guys, right?
Yeah, they're like the medium-sized guys with the 3 buttons.
Yes, yeah.
So we made one for modulation and we made one for reverb, and oh my God, they're awesome, absolutely awesome. And it's like I integrate the products into the music like all the time. So the better the products get, the more expanded the sound palette becomes, which is really, really awesome.
Every week there's another pedal on the board, and it's always
There's a swap,
taking over something.
comes in, one goes in, one's taken out.
As a bass dude, do you use pedals often?
Yeah, no, I have a regular PT2 as well, so it's kind of funny. People look at me and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're the guitar player walking in with the board." I'm like, "No, they've got boards twice the size." But we do a lot of funky stuff, so it kind of calls for a little bit of every sound.
That's cool. So what else besides? I see I was actually talking about this shirt earlier and how much I was lusting after one of these Roland shirts. So this is about the 3 anniversary pedals, right?
Yeah, so the first 3 pedals that Boss ever made in the compact form factor that we've all known for 40 years, we brought them back in a limited edition box series. And I actually used to own an OD1 and a PH1. Sad that I let them go. But it's more of a promotion that we've been doing this for 40 years, and we stand tried and true to our history and our legacy. So it's really cool to be like part of that, because they're kind of paving the way for the future and innovation of sound.
Yeah. I mean, you know, whether you're talking about the Boss pedals or other companies, some of those originals are good and people lust after them. They go up online and buy them for huge amounts of money, so it's cool that they're actually bringing them back.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, there's tons of people out there that'll go and hunt down the old ones, but as a collective of ourselves, we realize that, you know, a lot of those people are going after for those, so let's find a solution for that, because that's what I like about Boss products. We always think of there's an issue or a problem, and now we're going to try and make a solution for it. So this is a solution for the collectors that have always wanted those pedals or used to have them and want them back, and now we brought them back.
So what's going on in Samson World?
So, I mean, we're doing Samson and Harkey. So the cool thing in Baseland is going to be, we have the new HD high drive series cabinets. So last ones were around for 10 years. You know, we've got all of our main guys playing them, Victor Wood and Billy Sheehan. And we redid them, totally redid the driver from the bottom up. Still got your half paper, half aluminum, but they sound real, real nice. So
Isn't the bass player's refrain like, can't you just make this smaller and lighter?
No, we do get a lot of that, but at the same time, you know, we
doesn't
still need
fit my
things.
damn trunk. What am I going to do? Strap it on top? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it comes in 2
Spock,
10s and a
help
12
me.
too. Yeah, they're working on teleportation, so that one might help us a little bit. But no, we got the new cabinets. We got a new combo, another 500 series, a 500 watt combo. You know, only 35 pounds, so that answers that question a lot. And you know, as far as Samson, we have a lot of the new wireless. We have our headset wireless. We have the Go Mic Mobile coming out. Something that, you know, you could be in a noisy place like this and just come out with the cell phone and, you know, take your video.
Yeah, it was awesome. I worked at years ago. I had a progressive band myself, and was in the early days of the synthesizers, right? You know, and sequencing and all that stuff. And I worked at this one. It's very advanced for its time, this weird store that just carried, it was just all about the keyboard gear. And then what would happen is after everybody would leave, we would just stay in the store and rehearse using all the gear. And we'd have to go and play shows. We'd steal everything out of there, bring it back. I mean, there are benefits to working for companies, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I basically steal my own toys and go out and use them, you know, because it's a great real world application for that type of stuff, you know, because that's what a lot of the engineers and creators of this stuff want to hear. It's like, did you actually play this live? Like, how high did you crank that? What are the things that are happening in the real world that we want to add to, you know?
So kids, you heard it here. He's saying steal from Roland. That's the way you become a successful
Well, it's more of a borrowing process. They get it back eventually.
Make friends at your local music store. Make good friends.
Very good friends.
Or either that or be really fast. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. And again, tell everybody out there the name of the band and where they can hear some of your music.
Yeah, so the name of the band is Dhara, D-H-A-R-A, and you can find our stuff on SoundCloud, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, FaceTubes and InstaTube, whatever, all over the internet. We're out there, and you can basically listen to us there. We'll be playing a lot of local shows really, really soon, so come find some really good music.
One more question. I want to test whether you guys are really a progressive rock band or not. So what was the name of the last song that you wrote?
The name of the last song
that you wrote,
DBZ,
that you
right?
just finished?
Yeah, DBZ.
DBZ, Death by Zamboni.
You guys are truly a progressive rock band. Do you have a pet?
Do I have a pet? I have a cat. You're allergic to most animals, unfortunately.
What's the cat's name?
Sophie.
Not so progressive.
I didn't pick the name. I kind of stumbled upon her, but yeah, sure.
Okay, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. And then off to you.
Brad Talinsky here at the Summer NAMM show in Nashville. And our next guests are a couple of guys with a short but sweet name from the guys from Ox Box. Have a seat, guys.
How you doing, Brad?
Hey, James, how are you?
Good, good. You got some voice left. A little bit.
Yes, I definitely have some voice. I'm a trained communicator.
Yes.
And you're James, and you're
Harris.
Yeah. Hey, Harris. So, anyways, I was when I had a moment or two, I was walking around the floor, the NAMM show, and very intrigued by your booth. I didn't have time to stop by to see what it was all about, so I'm glad that you came to me.
No, I'm glad this is fantastic. We got a nice band playing some music for us. And
Make sure you get the mic up.
yeah, let's get this over here. So this is
So tell us a little bit about this guy.
so we're calling this Ox the Amp Top Box.
Okay.
And that's a really confusing name because, like, well, what does that mean exactly? What
I
we're
thought
doing
it was hugs and kisses.
That's after the show's over. It's all hugs and kisses and quiet rooms and gentle music and barbecue, probably somewhere really quiet.
Nice little
You know.
rosé.
Oh, it's Saturday, isn't it? It's our last day. No, this is one of those things where it looks really simple to use, but there's a lot going on. This thing starts at your amplifier speaker output.
Yeah.
So this is not like a modeling front end or any of that kind of stuff. We really start with showing your amp what looks exactly like a speaker.
Yeah.
There are a lot of boxes that just do what would you call like stepped attenuation or a resistive load, and the way you can turn down your amp. It's the whole classic thing of a 100-watt Marshall at bedroom volume kind of thing, or recording levels. So we start with a reactive load that we designed a few years ago that literally just looks like the speaker. So the amp then is actually dynamically and tone-wise reacting with your playing and what it thinks is a speaker probably dying. So that's part of it, and we let you bring a little bit of that tone back in your cabinet with the speaker volume knob.
Nice.
And that's just straight analog. That's all. That's why this thing weighs a ton. It's big, firewall-looking, just beefy
I can
thing.
see through the top. I can see
Yeah.
those tubes in there shining.
All sorts of glowing stuff going on that.
Yeah.
So that talks to your cabinet. So you can always bring back a little bit of the raw amp. And
Yeah.
we've got the two other knobs here on this brown side that let you play some headphone stuff and then send the line output to your recording, whatever you're using, or maybe a PA or something. But what are we sending out? The trick to this thing is we take that signal, so you can shut the cab completely off. And what we decided to spend the last few years doing was physical modeling of speakers. There are a lot of, and I used to have fun making these, what they call IRs. Everyone trades these speaker convolution IR things. And what you find is it's kind of a picture of a speaker at one sort of level. It's never really going to react with the amp as you're playing it. So we had to go back to the drawing board, like, what can we do to really model what a speaker does? Because we've got this great analog hardware that makes the amp think it's saying a speaker. Now how do we pick that up and finish off the job? So we modeled how the speaker gets hot, how it changes tone after you hit it with a 100-watt Marshall for an hour, how it actually starts creating those little subharmonic notes, what everyone calls cone cry.
Yep.
When we hear those old like 70s records, or even Queen's, Queen records, Van Halen stuff, where they hit these high notes and there's just like an extra note around it. That's just a physical cabinet and the speaker doing all this fun stuff that you can't fake in a model or an IR.
Yeah.
So we spent almost 3 years figuring out how to do that. So the other side of this takes that speaker, puts it in a cabinet, and then we did dynamic room modeling. So then we figured, well, what's some of the greatest sounds ever? Listen to a Zeppelin session or a Hendrix session where maybe that opening riff is bleeding into the drum mics. And that ambient sound, that air that we get, that thump, we decided to take these cabinets and measure how they radiated to the rooms.
Yeah.
So you've got this room knob that lets you bring all the air and thump of the cabin and the actual studio environment back into the close mics. So when you hit a chord, you get that kick back and you actually hear the wood again.
How big is the room that it describes?
The room we're in is our private studio. It was based on Bill Putnam Sr.'s Western Room, which is the Beatles room that turned into Ocean Way.
Yeah.
So we have our own version of that, and I used a good 35 plus feet of that room, and I literally for months at a time would measure that room as a session, because I think a room sounds different when it's got gear in it, and it did. So I put up the drums, I put up bass guitar amps, and then played guitar all day through it and figured out how that room sounded with gear, live as possible, so no carpeting, no blocking off the drums, and then did it all again, and then actually walled off the guitars, put baffling around the drums, and then tried to dry the room up like any good engineer would. It's like, well, the room's too live. Well, I want to deaden the room. Well, put down a carpet, put something around the drums, and there's a little button. And you'll see this. We have an iPad app. You just use an iPad, you can see all this stuff on screen,
I got you.
and you can change the way the room sounds.
Yep.
And it's literally the reflection patterns of that cabinet. So you can now sit in your small home studio or anywhere with headphones, and you get what you feel is like a cabinet in another room. And it's one of the differences that makes us feel like we're playing with the amp again, that just hitting a power chord and feeling the amp kick. It's a thing you almost have to just feel.
So this is not something done in a day. So what inspired you to even go down this road in the first place?
You know, that's a good question, because it was going at least the last 2.5 years straight, minimum for me on this one. We started when we started talking about doing more guitar modeling, and just how do we isolate the amp from the speaker, just to test it, or else I'd be blowing up speakers all day long, when we're listening to amps. So the engineering department made me this box that really did look like a speaker, but had no output. Yeah. And I just kind of looked at it like, well, we're going to use that. That's great. Like, can we do something with that? And everyone else agreed, like, well, if we were going to do something with that in the guitar space, we don't want to do anything anyone else is already doing. There's no reason to do that,
Is this, would you say that this is basically it's a pro piece of gear?
I think it's a pro piece of gear in the way that the sound of it, the end result, was really meant to sound like a finished record. Like my daily thing was, and these have been floating around, some of them haven't, but you get these multi-tracks of original recordings, and you solo the guitar, and you listen to the overhead mics and stuff, and you just get that sound that we all think is like what we think a guitar tone is, what we grew up with. Yeah. And it never sounds like that in our room or in our recording studio, right, however big it is. And we wanted to, because UA has promised on bringing studio quality tone to people, how did we do that in the guitar space? And thankfully, the powers that be are all guitar players at this company. And they love guitar, and they're like, just go away and work with the engineers. These great guys who, a PhD from Stanford's like trying to figure out why a Marshall on 10 sounds that way. Right. And they didn't stop me from doing that.
Just in your mind, what do you think what would you say are some of the holy grails of guitar tone?
Oh man, for this, I would probably start with the intro to Axis Bold as Love. When you hear him hit that first chord, it's not even about technique or pedals, it's just that one chord. Yeah. And you hear the note rumble in the room, and I hear a tone that, I was never able to get that sound anywhere. And it's because it's a combination of vibe and his rhythm, and I hear a solo in All Right Now from Free. Yeah. When he gets to that middle solo, there's a tone that is just fingers on a Les Paul, on a Marshall, and there's nothing in the middle of that. And it's the most beautiful thing about this instrument, that everyone can sound different, and it's just, I don't know how to explain it other than it's real. Being
at Olympic Studios is probably pretty sweet too.
I've been trying to get in there, and I found out it's a theater now.
Yes, it is.
It's a theater. I did try to break in.
I was there about 2 years ago.
Oh.
There was Jimmy Page was doing a
was it the book thing?
A presentation. Yeah. No, not book.
Oh, it was after that.
For the Led Zeppelin box sets.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and he did it. He did it. It's a theater now, but he did it in what was once
in that room. Oh yeah, you see the old Stones footage. Well, that was one of the things when I partitioned out the room for these sessions. I kept thinking of that old Stones footage.
Yeah.
From when you see everybody in the little corners, And I could go on about great guitar tones because, you know, we talk about Van Halen 1, we talk about country tones. It never ends.
Yeah.
I'm really not ashamed to say I love anything that's just a great song with a great guitar, because unfortunately, too, the song kind of makes the tone as well.
So, is there like a cool online demo or anything that you know, people can if they're just curious, they want to hear what you're talking about, because it makes me curious.
I know, and this is a lot of buildup for no payoff because there's nothing out there yet, and we're not even going to release this for probably this winter, I think, which is it's pretty open area.
Yeah.
I think we're going to work on some stuff to get a lot of players to be able to demo it, because it's one of those things you just have to feel, and I think when you hear it, it'll all make sense, because it's there's a lot going on in a box that kind of looks like an old hi-fi.
Yeah,
you know?
I like it. I like the way it looks, man. It's cool.
That was a big topic because it's. I have a thing where if I've got my old gear out, I really don't want to put what looks like a 1987 SPX 90 on top of my Marshall.
Yeah.
I feel dirty. You know, a candle lit. Okay, I can do that.
You need to
Jimmy Page would approve.
We just need to put one of those, like hook up one of those old style televisions on top of it.
Oh, we did buy that and a tube tester for the booth.
Yeah.
So I'll wait for finance to question that when we get back home.
Awesome.
That's going to be a good one.
So one last question.
Yep.
Have you guys had a chance to look around the show?
A little bit.
Is there anything?
Not enough.
is there anything that you see that was cool, or are you guys just such tone sound nerds that you're just like, the rest of the show?
Stonewood amp is pretty cool. Next to us, you know, it's the hook-on acoustic amp. I think it's battery powered, and you can take it in. I thought that was pretty cool.
Cool.
I don't know much about it though. I need to look more into it.
That stuff will look neat. I'm the worst because I see everybody's booth and go, oh, I could use that. And it's usually 14 different pedals and there's some great Comet amps here that are based on train wrecks. They're got Morgan amps. There's just great. Now I'm just in amp mode. Now I just want to buy every amp now.
Yeah.
But then every pedal, then beautiful guitar. Fender had, I guess, a Brad Paisley guitar and a deluxe reissue that looks really cool. I hand wired.
Yeah.
That thought really looked neat. And then I made the mistake of going to Gruen guitars. And
that's just the ultimate playland.
It's just kind of torture.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, I don't need a house.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe my wife will still stay married to me after I bring home this Fiesta Red Strat.
Yeah.
You know, it was going through my mind.
Yes, I got you. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. It's
Oh my
fascinating.
God.
And I guess people like out in guitar world. I mean, look out for Oxbox. I mean, what is your URL for your company?
Uaudio.com and then /aux for the product. And there's plenty of product demos on YouTube already if you want to hear the tone and how it sounds.
Well, make sure you let the people at Guitar World know when this thing comes out. So
I'll get one of these and I'll meet you at Olympic. Let's go do it.
Yeah, I love that idea. Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Are we off?
Yep.
I want to go to Olympic so bad. Really, so cool.
So this is Brad Talinsky from the Summer Nashville NAMM, and I'm not sure who's up next or where we're going, but I'm sure. Oh, here we go. Come on over, Kevin. Let's see how we're going to do this. Oh, I know how we're going to do this. We're going to talk a little bit first about what the product is, and then I'm going to hold up a microphone to it.
Okay. And at that point, I can maybe just set this down like this or something.
No, we'll just talk first.
Okay.
So, anyways, we're talking to Guitar World Magazine's audience right now.
Right.
And we have with us Kevin, and the name of your company is
Fluid Audio.
Fluid Audio.
Yes.
And they have. I love coming to NAMM because there's always something. I mean, it's cool to see what Fender's doing and Gibson and Marshall, but there's always somebody that comes out with something really interesting and really different, and I just love that about this show. And this is one of these products. So
Thank you.
Just first, tell us a little bit about it. He has this device that's suction cupped on on this Strat, and tell us a little bit about what this guy is.
we talked about the monitors last time in Anaheim. This is kind of a monitor too. This is what we call a personal guitar monitor. It's called the Strum Buddy by Fluid Audio, and it's basically a small guitar amplifier, a personal practice amp. 6 watts of power, 40 millimeter driver, with effects. It has distortion, chorus, and reverb, and it's rechargeable. So there's a lithium-ion battery inside, and it'll go for 3.5 hours on one charge. So that's the guy, and it will stick to any guitar, and it won't hurt any finish or anything like that. I've done a lot of testing. So.
Awesome.
That's the guy.
I do have to tell you though, if you're going to do video demos, you need to get a colored guitar so that the black thing sticks out a little bit more.
I know, Brad.
I won't beat you up too hard.
Yeah,
about it.
I know. When I went to Music Messa, I brought my butterscotch telly. I should have brought it, but
I love the guitar. Don't get me wrong.
Thank you. Well, hopefully your cameras will pick it up on the black guitar. I hope so.
So, anyways, let's hear it a little bit. Well,
sure.
First, let me ask you, because we spoke earlier, and this device has 3 different buttons or sounds on it.
Right.
And tell us what each one of these things do.
So 3 effects. So if you press no button, it's a clean setting. So it's a clean setting. There's a reverb.
Yeah.
There's a chorus setting, which is not an overtly chorusy. It's kind of a subtle chorus. We did a lot of back and forth with our German distributor, their guitar players, and they said, and they helped us with the sounds. So there's chorus, and then there's a distortion, which we call crunch.
Cool. I'll take the mic from you. Can you just play a couple of chords so we can hear how this guy sounds?
I'm prepared here, so let me just grab a pick. And you can put it anywhere. You can put it on the pick guard or the body. This is a relic body, as you can see.
Yep.
And the LED, turns green when you plug it in. When you charge it, it turns red.
This is the clean setting. No, I'm kidding. This is the distortion.
Let's turn everything off.
This is a clean sound.
I believe that's the reverb.
That's the sound with the reverb.
That's full clean.
Okay, not to confuse everybody. The first sound we heard was with the reverb, and the second one, this is a straight up clean sound.
Yeah, sorry about that. There's no indicator that tells you what you're on, so you have to do it by just the feedback of what you hear.
Yep.
It's a small product, and we decided not to.
It's easy. It's a snap.
So that's the clean, and of course back to the distortion.
Now here's the distorted sound. Cool. And do you remember sort of who came up with the idea for this thing? What was the evolution of it?
Well, I came up with the idea. I mean, I've been a guitar player since high school, and just sitting in front of the TV, you're always looking for something to plug into. You can play acoustic guitar, of course, which is a little cumbersome sometimes, and it doesn't. You want to play AC/DC in front of the TV, you're not going to pick up your acoustic guitar. So I came up with the idea, and I saw something else with this suction cup idea, and I said, you know what, I can borrow that idea for a mini amp. So that's where I got the idea. It was probably maybe 2 years ago. I did a patent application, so it's currently pending. So we're hoping for success.
Cool. How come you didn't take this on to Shark Tank?
I thought about it. I thought about it. But it's so intimidating, that show.
You didn't want to hear bum bum.
Yeah.
Bum bum bum.
Right.
Bum. Although the cool thing is it's a pretty heavy metal riff. Like you could actually come out.
Yeah, that's a good.
This thing.
It's a good idea. And I met a guy in Germany 2 years ago who was on Shark Tank with a guitar product, and he got kind of his head handed to him. So I thought, you know what, I'll do it the hard way.
So if the people out there want to sort of see a full-on demonstration, is there like a video or something that they can look up on YouTube or a URL
on YouTube there's a few videos that we did. Oh, this is feeding back. When it's on distortion mode, it feeds back. So yeah, we did a lot of videos in the Music Message show in April. So if you just type in Strum Buddy in YouTube and you'll find a lot of videos, or our website, fluidaudio.net, we have one.
Fluidaudio.net or Strum Buddy. You'll be able to hear what's going on here. Well, thanks so much for stopping by. It's a pleasure, and it is a super cool product.
I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So that made my name. Right there. I'm so glad you could do that for me. Thanks so much.
No problem. Anytime. So Brad Talinsky here from Nashville Summer NAMM Show, and we have our next guest up here. Hey Sammy, how's it going?
I'm good.
That's good. So what do you got? What do you got for us today?
Well,
here?
I got my Heritage H110.
That's a beauty.
Yeah, man, it's really nice. They made this for me a couple years back, and yeah, it's been my main guitar ever since. You know. And,
well, a lot of people, you know, aren't necessarily familiar with the Heritage brand, but they're this cool company that is located in Kalamazoo, where the original Gibson company was based out of, and in fact, from what I understand, the guys making these Heritage guitars were originally some of them were from the original Gibson company, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so a lot of them just stayed because they had families in Michigan, so they wanted to stay and keep making guitars. And they just kept using the old tools, and it's the same factory and the same floor, the same building. It's all the same stuff. And
some of you will notice something a little bit different about this guitar. I mean, he's a lefty, right? It's hard to find good guitars if you're a lefty sometimes, right?
I usually just play right-handed guitars and just leave them how they are.
Yeah. And so did they make this one special for you?
Yeah, so all they really did is
Here, I can hold on to this.
It's a left-handed body, but the only thing that's really different is the nut has been filed, so the thicker strings can fit on the bottom, and obviously the strings have been flipped around, so my bass string is on the bottom, and the bridge has been turned to accommodate the strings, and but yeah, man.
Do you mind if I put the Strum Buddy on your guitar?
It's a small amplifier. I'm just going to plug it into your guitar so you can play. Right? It's on the clean setting right now, but there's a distortion here and some other stuff. So go ahead, let it rip.
Do you? I hear you're a pretty ripping player. You mind playing some stuff for us?
Sure.
I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna have my beautiful assistant help you. Betts influence in there?
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, that was just, I just usually noodle around. I don't like playing the same kind of stuff. I never learn a song note for note. I usually just, and it's hard to being left-handed, so I have to kind of come up with stuff on my own on the fly.
I tell you, whenever I see a lefty play, it drives me a little crazy because I'm just like, that looks so weird.
Yeah, and it's
But Paul McCartney was a lefty. He did pretty good.
No.
Jimi Hendrix,
Of course.
you know.
But it's hard for me to watch another left-handed player. I usually have to watch a right-handed player to understand it.
Interesting.
Like if I watch, Eric Gales or, Albert King or anyone like that's a lefty, it's hard for me to understand what's going on a lot of the time.
So, have you had a chance to look around the show?
Oh yeah, I've been around. This is my second day here, and I just met Joe Bonamassa a couple minutes ago.
Nice,
yeah, I shook his hand. He liked my guitar, played it a little bit. It's really cool, man. A lot of cool people here.
Did you see any other, besides the great heritage instruments, have you seen anything else here that's caught your attention? Amps, effects, whatever?
Nutter guitars I thought were really cool, really original looking, and they played really nice. And the Yamaha stuff, the Rev Stars are really, really cool. I really like the Yamaha stuff they got here.
You don't hear people talk about Yamaha as a guitar manufacturer as much as some others, but I had a great Yamaha acoustic I used for live stuff all the time. They made really great, before anybody else was doing it, really good amplified acoustic instruments.
Yeah. But the Rev Star, it's got a simple body shape and nice pickups. You can get P90s or humbuckers or whatever you want, really. And I think they're cool guitars, and I played some nice Pacificas as well.
Well, I'm so happy you took a little time out.
Of course.
Played for us and showed us your guitar. And again, thank you to Strum Buddy once again for helping us out by using this little guy here to help us amplify Sammy. Here, we'll take this off. Okay, thank you, man.
Yep, no problem.
Have a good show.
Hi, Brad.
Brad and Talinsky and Laura Whitmore from BackStory here.
Well,
is this it?
I think this might be it. I just want to ask you, Brad, did you see anything that kind of rocked your boat here at the NAMM show?
Well, Sammy mentioned this one company that was making custom guitars called Nutter Guitars.
Other?
Nutter.
Nutter.
N-U-T-T-E-R guitars. And they made this double neck guitar that the top neck was a regular guitar, and then the bottom neck was sounds exactly like a great sounding acoustic banjo, but tuned like a guitar. So that if you're playing in a country band and you're a guitar player, you need to cover a banjo part, you could just sort of go back and forth.
That's handy.
And it's very cool, and it just sounded so much like a real banjo. It sort of blew me away. I like that. And one of the cool things about coming to the NAMM show is seeing these different custom guitar companies. And they have a special booth at the NAMM set aside just for all of these, one-off strange guitars. And it was really fun seeing those all the time, too.
There's a lot of really cool small guitar makers here, for sure.
Yeah.
So.
And just in general, it's the first time I've been to the Nashville NAMM in, probably like 6 years. And I've really enjoyed being at the town and hanging out and eating the food and, drinking and all that.
Good fried chicken, some whiskey, it's all good.
And of course, talking to all the people that we've been talking to. It's fantastic.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll
see you in the winter time at Winter NAMM.
But we've got a lot more events coming up. So go to backstoryevents.com, see what interviews we have coming up. We got Steve Vai coming out in August 22nd. We'll be live streaming with him.
Brendan Small from Death Clock, we're going to be talking with him.
And there's a couple more in the works that we're going to announce in the next couple of days. So
Yes.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Bye, everyone.